in Angular. And after understanding that, one more important option we need to discuss is how to deal with the event binding in Angular. That means in Angular, how we can handle the events, various types of events, how we can configure and work with them. Different types of events, working with events. So actually, event binding, same like JavaScript. Generally, Angular uses all JavaScript browser events. So whatever you learned in JavaScript browser events, the same approach we have to follow here also. Same concept we need to follow here also. So Angular uses all the JavaScript browser events. JavaScript browser events are so many types. So like we have mouse events like on mouse over, like on mouse out, like on mouse down. So like on mouse up, like on mouse move. So all these are mouse events. Similarly, we have like key events, keyboard events. Actually, keyboard events are, we have like, so on key up, so like on key down, so key down, so like on key press. We have miscellaneous events like click, on click. So we have on double click, DBL click, like on cut, on copy, like on paste, like on change, like on select. So all these are like on load, like on submit, on reset, all these are JavaScript events. And all JavaScript events are used in Angular. Angular uses all JavaScript events. Only some changes you need to identify. Rest of all events are same. There is no difference. So we don't need to specially learn about events here. Only the change we need to observe. What changes are there in the events? Only the approach is nothing but, so generally in your JavaScript, when you are dealing with the events, for example, suppose for a button, so we have to write some event. We need to configure the event. So I'm defining here, suppose button. So for button, we are writing event on click, some btn click. Okay, that's an event. In JavaScript, event have two arguments. So this and event, two arguments are available. So this is, I am showing you in JavaScript how events are handled. Now for this button click, we configure a function. So we configure a function. So for btn click, and we configure two formal parameters for them. One is obj, another one is e. Actually, so this refers to the object related properties. This refers to object related properties. Object related properties means that it is sending name, so value, id, class, all such things are sent by using this. That means button related information you can access and you can send into the event as an argument. So by using this parameter, event is used to send event related information. Event related information. Event related information will be like, so generally event have some properties. Event properties like client x axis position, client y axis position, key code, which key they pressed, alt key, control key, ctrl key, like this. These are event related properties. Event related properties are sent by using this event. Object related properties are sent by using this. We have to collect them and use them. That means obj.value, obj.name, e.clientx, like that. We have to use them. But in Angular, so the point that you have to observe it, this is how you do in JavaScript. That's how you are going to manage in JavaScript. So what you have to do in Angular is, so in Angular usually, so we need to configure, so button. So events all are same JavaScript events, but we don't use the word on. And events are defined in a parenthesis. So that means we write click, we write change, click, blur, focus, so many. Now this is click, and on click, so we need to define a function. So btn click, you can write a method. Now this method, this is the method. JavaScript allows two event arguments, this and event. But here, this is not allowed. This is not allowed. Because this is already a keyword used by the component class. Class uses this keyword already. So we have to use only $event. Only one argument is allowed. That is $event. This $event sends both details actually. This $event sends both the details. Object related information, event related information, both are sent by this event. This $event is going to send both. But how? Actually, when we configure that, so in Angular, we have a TypeScript file. In that TypeScript file, we configure a method for that. So btn click, just a method in the class. This method will collect the event. And actually, event related properties, it can directly access e client x. So e key code, like this it can access. But object related properties, it cannot access directly. It should use e dot target dot name, like that. E dot target dot id. Object related properties are accessed by using target. So in JavaScript, we have separate references, this event. But in Angular, not only in Angular, in jQuery also same. In Angular, we have dollar event. Dollar event will send both object related information, event related information. So it will send both the details. We have to access object related information with target. Event related information directly accessible. Directly accessible. This is only the difference in JavaScript and Angular. Rest of every concept same. All the events, all the functions are same. There is no change. Everything is same, no change. You can write all your events, whatever examples, events related you have used in your JavaScript, the same you can replicate here. But this time it will be more simplified. So see how it works actually. Suppose I will give here a simple component. Let's add a new component in our project. So ng generate component event demo. So I'm adding a component event demo. And in this event demo component, so let's keep that event demo in startup. So event demo component in the startup in index page. Event demo. Okay. Event demo. Fine. Now let's add this and access this and see. I'm already compiling this. So localhost event demo is working fine. Okay. Now let's go and design here event demo. I'm creating a simple button. So div margin top 3, and here we have a button. So button is having ID, some btn, some register, or say insert. Button is having name insert, like that. So it says insert. That is the button text. So it is having some class. So btn and btn, so success something. Now on the button click, I want to access the information about the button along with its event related properties also. Then I will write a function here. I'm configuring a function method. So that is insert click. Okay, this will fire up when insert button is clicked. So then it will accept the event arguments E. So it is any type. Now insert click must fire up when user clicks the button. So how to write event? Event is written in a parenthesis. We need to just define click, that is the event. On click, here we need to configure. So on click, here we need to configure the name, configure the name of the function. It should fire up. In JavaScript, we write on click. Here we just write click. It should access insert click. So that is the function. Insert click is expecting an event argument. We have to pass that $event. Now on insert click, we can access the details here. I will put some option like some button ID is initially empty. Nothing is defined. Okay, it's initially empty. So button name, that's also empty. And button class, so button class also empty. All just strings. And I'm defining like x position. So that is also empty. Okay. Now we need to configure. So we need to define technically how to handle and how do we configure everything. Uh, this is our classroom related. This is our classroom related option. This is yes. In this, we have a document directives. In the directives document, so 54 pages are there. In the 54 pages, all the topics related to class binding, iterations, everything is present inside these pages. So have you seen them? Have you seen them? Have you seen them? No, because some people just see the date posted on 6th July. After that, they come to a conclusion that, sir, after 6th July, no notes is uploaded. As if he already read the notes I uploaded. Huh? So don't be so foolish in your questions. First, check what I have uploaded, read the complete document, and then talk about it. Okay? Because some people are asking, sir, after 6th July, you haven't uploaded notes. So I don't know why I have to upload the notes because already I uploaded that. Okay? Open it. You genius people, open it. Open the notes and see what is written inside it. Right? Then come with your questions. Notes not uploaded, as if you have seen the complete notes. Huh? Don't know, right? Yeah. Right. Okay. Now let's check this. Already up to class binding, everything is uploaded into that. Now, here we have to handle the details and display the details. So let's see here. And we will put a div here. Yeah. So container. Yeah. And inside this, I am displaying just details. Details, nothing but I want so button name. So, and we want the button name. So we have btn name. So, or say button name. So we can access that button name and display. In the next line, so we have like just to show you. So button ID. So we have button ID. And in the next line, so we have class name. So here we define button class. What I given here, button class. Yeah. And X position. And here I given as X position. Yeah. So these are the details. Now on button click, we need to collect the details and store in those references. Currently it is empty. Button name and all are empty. On button click, we need to collect the details. Then this dot button ID, how we can access its ID? Because it is a object property, we have to access through E dot target dot ID. That's how we access. So this dot button name, E dot target dot name, because these are all object related information. Object related properties are present, means which element you are writing, for which element you are writing the event. The element related information is present inside this target. Now we have this dot. So button class, button class, button class is equal to e dot target dot class. Actually, that returns the class. Okay. Now we have one more. So position, x position, this dot x position is equal to e dot client x, not target, because this is event related property. Event related property you can access directly. Object related property we have to access with the help of target. In JavaScript, it's not like that. We will have separate parameters. One parameter for event, another parameter for object. But here, only one parameter for both. So it uses target and client X. You see now, when I click on the insert button, it must get the details and display. And see here, so this class is not available. Why? Because already you know that, already I told you, attribute and property difference I told you already you learned in JavaScript, and already I told here also when we learned attribute and property binding. Every attribute name will not be same as property name. That means, for example, there is no property called class. Can you tell what is the property for class? What is the property for class? Can you tell what is the property of class? Property for class is class name. Very good, right? The property for class is class name. We have to access the class name. So we can access that class name and we can configure that. That means it will get the class names and use it. Because dynamically when you are accessing, we need to configure the properties. We need to access and use them. So this is basically how to handle the event. So this is general concept, how we manage the event, how we handle the events and configure them. Technically, so these are event arguments, and all your events are same, no change. Mouse events, key events, all the miscellaneous events you have learned in JavaScript, you can use in the same way. So you have all of them. If I haven't mentioned any, you know all of them, like on blur, like on focus, all these. We can use every event in the same way. Only the change is the approach. So, and event argument is the change. Rest of options are same, no change. So that means you can try all your JavaScript examples here. I will show you one small example, and I will upload some event examples, mouse events, key events, some examples. You can go through them because all are same JavaScript. In your JavaScript, whatever event examples you have learned, you can try them here. So I will show one small example, events, managing the event and working with that. Let's create one small component for understanding this. So I will go and add another component here. With events, one small example we will design. Open in integrated terminal, yes. ng generate component, I have some shopping. Yes, okay. I created a component called shopping. I'm creating a shopping component. So let's keep that shopping component in the startup. So shopping component in the startup. Yeah. And in the module, I have that shopping. Okay. That is configured. And let's go into the design. Yep. Let's create the presentation and let's see how we can manage this with some events. So go to the shopping HTML page and I am designing here. So class container, fluid. Okay. And here I have a header. So let's add a span, a heading. Okay. And some span. And we use bootstrap classes, BI and BI cart. So cart. Okay. That is cart fill. Okay. Cart fill. And we will say some Amazon shopping. Okay. Shopping. So this is one just header we configured there. And the class margin top 3. Fine. That is the header we designed. And here we will put BG, some danger, and text white, and the text center. Okay, that is here. Yeah. And padding 2. Padding 2. These are all your bootstrap options here. Okay. This is at the top. So we configured that. So now, next, so at the bottom, I created a section. And in the section, let's add a row. So we are defining a div. So class row. In the row, we will configure div. So class as col 3. So 3 columns left side. And a div class as col 6 as the center, and a div class col 3 at the right. So that means we are distributing among the 12. You know that. So we need to distribute among the 12. Okay. So 3 columns. In this left column, we are creating a div class margin top 2 or 3. Yeah. Here we put a label, say select category, and a div, and we put a select. So this select will be class form select. That is the bootstrap class for drop down. So that is select category. Fine. So you have this select category at the left side. Okay. So now we have another div inside the column. And let's keep this as select product. Okay, that is another select product. Fine. And we have one more. So that is another div. And the class as margin 3 and label preview. So the product preview must be displayed there. So in the div, so we have class as card. And below that, we are defining div class as card header. Okay, after this, class as card body. And text center. Here also text center. And in the body, we have image. So width is some 200, height also 200. Okay. That's an empty at the card. And we are defining at the card footer. That means at the bottom, this is card body. And div and class as card footer. In the card footer, we have a div, so with a button and a span. So class as BI and BI cart 4. So that is actually cart 4 is your, yeah. And I put add to cart, just the text. And button, this div will have the class as display grid. dgrid, display grid, and button class btn and btn danger. Okay. So this is the appearance now. So this is the content we have to display. Now we have a select category, we have select product, and we have the preview and the image and add to cart button. And right side, I want to display here. Let's go to the right side. In the right cell, here we need to display. So div, so class as display grid, and here we have a button. And inside the button, we have a span and put the class as badge. So badge and BG light, I have defined BG light. Okay, here we will put, so how many items in the cart we will display there. Another span, so we will put a just square brace there. Later we will put some text inside it, and here, so class as BI and BI cart 2, cart 2. Okay, and here your cart items, okay. And that's also class BTN and BTN warning, something like this. So that is at the right side we defined. So we will keep that as BG dark, and this will be so margin 3. Fine, and let's keep that your cart items. It will be fine. Now, right side, how many items are there in the cart? We need to display that. So that number will come there. Actually, here we are going to display the number. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So it is going to display that number of items in the cart. So we need to configure that. We will do it. So we will configure the number of options there. So it should display that and configure it. Now, this we need to implement as a functionality. We need to configure that. So these values will come and change according to our selections and options, how we are configuring. So in the center, we will display some table. In the center, we will display a table. So the class as a table and a table hover. And here we have a caption. And so here we have table caption. So we have caption top, and display your cart items, and so T head, and TRTH. So the name and the price and the preview. And in the table body, we have the row to generate. We will keep it empty. Later, we will add some data into that dynamic. So these are the options here. And so margin top 3. Okay. This is basically a table below. So we have that your cart items. Okay. This is the design. Now what we want to implement here is, so when we are configuring data, later we will pull the data from an API, server side APIs. Initially we hard code the data. First, I want some list of categories here. So then let's go into the logic, the TS file, create a collection for the categories. Let's clean up all this. Just clean class. So here we will create categories. Categories is a collection. It's an array which contains, so electronics, which contains footwear, so which contains fashion. And here we will put first category as select a category. Okay, it will have this. Now I want these categories to be added into the drop down. So that means the first drop down into the categories. So we need to create an option. This option should repeat. Already we know. So NG for LET item of categories. And we need to display. So the item is nothing but the category name. That means all the categories are added dynamically here now. You see, select a category. It is there. All the categories are displayed here. User can select a category. Now, by default, these cart items I don't want to show. Then initially, I will put a variable here, a property, show cart. Show cart is false. Okay. I will use that to the table here. So for the table, I am using ngIf show cart. It is having false. So it will not be displayed. By default, it will not be displayed. We will display when user clicks on this button, your cart items button. When user clicks on that, it should display. That means we have to write a event here. Event is toggle cart. Okay. So toggle cart will fire up when they click that button. Now what should happen is, if it is false, it should be true. If it is true, it should be false. So simply this dot show cart is equal to this dot show cart is equal to false. That means if put in a parenthesis, yeah, this dot show cart is equal to false. If it is false, then put true, otherwise put false. That is a simple ternary operator. And this should fire up when user clicks the right button. When user clicks this button, so that means click, and we need to access toggle cart. This method will fire up. And this is used just to toggle the cart. Click the button, the cart will appear. Again, click the button, it will hide. We can show and hide the content here. You can show and hide the content. So we can display. We don't have any data inside it. So data also we will display. So data also we can configure and display. So currently, so we don't have any data inside the table body and all. So this is the cart. So that is for the table. You want the table to display or not, because table caption will be above the table. That's the reason you can do one thing. You can keep this table in a div. So, and for this div, so you can put that ngIf. So ngIf, so that is show cart. ngIf, sorry, yeah, ngIf and show cart. That will hide the complete table. So it will display the table and hide the table. Right? That is displaying and hiding the table. Now, what should happen is when user configures. So this is working fine. When user selects the category related products must come. The second drop down must change according to which category they are selecting. So for that, first we need to have the products list. Actually, one is electronics, which contains select electronic product. So here we have JBL speaker, okay, earpods like this, and footwear. In this, we have select footwear, and we have like Nike casuals and some Lee Cooper boot. Okay. And we have fashion. So in this, so we have select fashion product. Okay. And we have like some jeans, like shirt. Okay. These are the products. But these three will be changing. That means the second drop down is not having a constant list that will be changing according to which category you have selected. So then I will create here a products array. So it's an empty array. It doesn't have anything. I will use this empty array for this products drop down. Select product for this drop down option. I will use that ng for let item of products, and I will use that item. But products is an empty array. Currently it doesn't have anything. So what should happen when user selects electronics? This electronics collection must be assigned to products. When user selects footwear collection must be assigned to products. So products will be changing according to the category. So first, how to get the selected category? So I will create a property selected category. Here by default, I am giving select a category. Okay. Now this will be binded with the drop down. That means with this drop down, we will bind it. That means by using two-way binding technique, ng model, we need to access. So access and bind it. That means we have to define selected category. Selected category. So whatever the category name user selects, that category name will be stored here. But when user changes the category, we have to get the category name. It should be stored there. When user changes the category, we should get the updated one. That means on category change. This is a method. This method will fire up when category is changing. That means here we have to write a change event. Change. So change, we have to call the function on category changed. So on category changed, the selected category name will be stored inside this model. Okay, now we will write a simple switch here. We will write a simple switch. Into that switch, we will pass this dot selected category. That means selected category will be changing according to which option they selected. Now we will pass into switch. If case is electronics, that means if user selects electronics, if case is electronics, then what must happen here is, what should happen is products array, this dot products array must be applied with this dot electronics, that is applied. Now it is showing that by default it is empty. In that case, no problem. We will configure as any array. So that means I don't know what type of data you are sending. Then we will say that, okay, this is an array type, any type. You can accept any. That is important here. So we can configure that any type. Now after that break, that's done. Similarly, if case is footwear, then this dot products is equal to this dot footwear. That's it, and break. And if the case is fashion, then this dot products is equal to this dot fashion and break. If default, that means they haven't selected anything. This dot products, into that we will pass please select category. We will display that into that and break. Now that will be better. Now you see here, when I select a category electronics, electronic products will come here in the second drop down. So I select here footwear, footwear products will come here. And I select here fashion, the fashion products will come here. Now, if there are hundreds of categories, no need to write switch. We have other techniques. So we can use filter, find commands of array, and we can use them. So array have find command. I will show you that example. That also inside this concept. That means it depends. If you have more, then don't waste the time in switch. You just find it by using array functions you have learned in JavaScript. You use those array functions for finding and accessing and using it. I will show you that one. So if user select a category, then it says please select a category. There are no options to select. One category I selected, then only those products will come. Now important, when I select a product, the product detail should come. That means the product name, the product price, all the details should come. Product related details should come. So for that, we need again some data. For every product, we need to maintain some data. We need to maintain some data. So what we do is here, let's create some data now. Data is array of objects. Remember, in the next level, we will pull this from a database, a backend API, and we will use it. As of now, we don't have any connection with database or a server-side technology to communicate. We are hard coding this data. In the next level, we will see how to consume and communicate with APIs in the backend. So currently, data is an object. It contains name. JBL speaker. Okay. It contains price. Okay. Price. It contains photo. So photo is in assets. So speaker.jpg. That is the photo. So we already have them in the assets. We have those photos copied there. Okay. Now, that's enough. These are the options. Now, I will copy and keep some data here. So this is like some earpods and the price and earpods.jpg. Okay. All the category related products, whatever we are having, we are maintaining information for that. So that means it will be, so Nike casuals and the price and shoe.jpg. And so this will be some Lee Cooper boots and the price and that is shoe1.jpg. 1.jpg. And we have like jeans. And so we have jeans and some jeans.jpg and one more that is shirt. We configured that and defined that here. Okay. Now I added shirt.jpg something. Okay, these are the details. This is the data. Now what should happen is when user selects, so when user selects the product, so when user selects a product here, when user selects a product, I need to get the product name. Then we need a property for capturing the product name. So let's create a property and configure the property. That is, let's add here. Okay, that is selected product. Selected product is currently empty, so it's not having anything. Selected product is empty. Now, when user selects a product, the product detail should come, or I can add some default. So select product something. Now, what should happen is when user selects a product, the product name must be stored inside this. That means we need to bind this. We need to bind this to the second drop down. To the second drop down, I have to bind ng model. So that is selected product. Okay. And when user changes that, so we need to write on product change. On product change method, this will fire up when product is changed. That means here we have to write change. On product change, that on product change, that method will fire up. So it will get the updated product name, selected product. Just temporarily, I will put an alert, this dot selected product, to ensure that, to check whether it is coming correctly or not. See, I selected electronics in that earpods, it should get that. So it's working fine. Now you are able to access the product name correctly. Okay, then this is just for testing. Now, selected product, I have to search for this product inside this data and collect it. That means here I will write one more. So searched product, searched product. Searched product I will give as any type. By default, searched product as any type. Now, it is an actually object, it is an any type. Now I need to search for the product by its name from the data. And you know array functions. In JavaScript, you learned array functions. So this dot data dot, find method. There are two important, find and filter. Find and filter, and you also know map. These are all array methods, JavaScript array methods. Find. So find, we have to find the product based on name. That means I will write a lambda expression. Product implies product dot name is matching with this dot selected product. That means it will read every product from the data, verify the name is matching with the selected product name, which is chosen in the dropdown. If it is matching, then bring that and store in this dot searched product into searched product. That means searched product is an object that contains the data returned by this. That means searched product contains the product name and price and photo, so which is matching with the product selected. Now the information is present inside this, and I want to display the details. This detail must be displayed. Then what you have to do is, so where to display that? I want to display here inside the card, So card header, I will keep a header H4. In this header, we want to display searched product dot name. We want to display the name. Okay. Image is nothing but image src. Src is searched product dot photo. Below that, I will put a paragraph, and here searched product dot price. We will display all the details. That means when user selects here category, so we need to select a category. So, and some problem here. What happened? some issue in the presentations where the issue happened. Let's check once. Is there any error happening? Oh, some errors are there. What we missed? Acha. See, it says that name is not defined. That means actually we mentioned this as an any type. Any type, but is an array or object. You have to define that. So it is an any type object. If it is an any type object, what properties it should contain? What we are expecting? Actually, we in real world, we use contracts for that. I will show you that contract technique. So contract means interfaces. Initially, what are the details? Name is empty. Okay, fine. So price is a number. Okay, fine. Photo is also a string, empty. These are the details we are expecting. So that means those properties need to be configured. Now you see, I selected electronics and electronic product. The product details will come. I'm selecting earpods. The earpods will come. I change the category footwear, and footwear Nike casuals. It will get that. And I selected Lee Cooper. It gets that. That means we are choosing a category. Category related products will display. The products will display. Now, when I click on add to cart button, this must be added into a shopping cart. So we need to maintain a shopping cart. So that shopping cart contains only the items that you have chosen. Then we will do one thing. We will create here another property, cart items. Cart items is an any type, and initially it is empty, 0. Cart items is empty. When user clicks on, when user selects add to cart, actually this is an array. We do one thing, we will create as an array. Cart items is an array, any type array. Now, only the items that user selected, they must be added into this cart items. What I will do is, so first I will write a function, get count. Get count is a function. This function contains items count. So I will put here another property, cart items count. Cart items count is initially 0. So this dot cart items count is equal to, that means cart items count is equal to this dot cart items dot length. We have to get how many items are there. Initially cart items count is 0. Later it will update according to the length of these cart items. Now these cart items I will display here in the UI. Cart items count we will display inside the UI here, right side. Here we will display. That means cart items count we are displaying. And we will display there. Initially it is 0 now. You can see that 0. Okay, now when user clicks add to cart button, we write a functionality. That means we will write add to cart click. When user clicks add to cart click, this searched product must be added into cart items. Then this dot cart items is an array. Into that we have to push this dot searched product. That's it. After that, we need to access this dot get count, which will update the count. So we need to add this item and it should update the count. Now add to cart click must fire up when user clicks this add to cart button. That means here add to cart button is there. So on click, it have to access add to cart click. It should access that add to cart. Now you can see here, when I select a category, electronics, so, and add to cart, and you can put some prompt also. That means when add to cart is clicked, I will display here alert saying that item added to cart. That message should display. And you see now I selected electronics, I selected speaker, add to cart, item added to cart, okay. And right side, my cart count will update one item in the cart. I selected footwear and some footwear, add to cart. So, okay, now number of items are 2. Now, similarly, fashion, I selected some fashion and add to cart, number of items 3. Now I want to see how many items are in the cart, and I click on that. So the table should update. In the table, it should display. That means the cart items must be added into table. That means on toggle, so what we have to do is we need to get the cart items and display. That means simple. Actually, what we do is, so we will perform iteration here, ng for let item of cart items, and we generate a cell. First cell contains item dot name. Second cell contains item dot price. Third cell contains the preview image. So image width is 50, height is 50, and image source src is item dot photo. So these are the cart items added into it. You see now I click on footwear and Nike casuals. I click add to cart, item added to cart, and your cart items 1. I click on that. It will open that and show. And I selected another fashion and some shirt and add to cart. Item added to cart. It will add into the cart. It will display there. So now I click this button, it will toggle the display. I can display the cart items. And you know how to remove the items. Already we learned. Suppose some electronics, I selected some earpods and add to cart. That's also added. Now I want to remove some item from the cart. Then in this table, additionally, another cell will repeat. In this, we will keep a button. So the button, so class as BTN and BTN danger. And we have a span. So class, so BI. So class is BI and BI. So BI trash. Okay. And this will add the button in this way. Actually, when you add any category, okay, add it, and you can see the trash button will come. That is delete, remove. So we can add that. We can configure that. So just I defined, so BTN outline danger, and configured that. We are configuring this, right? Now, once it is defined, so that means you can add a header here. So table header as action. So that header will give you that content. So that means when I select any item, add to cart, it is added. I selected one more item, add to cart, 2 items. And these are the options. And on delete, that item must be removed. And you know how to do that. So if you can send, already we learned that example, how you can remove the item from that. So that means on delete, what we need to do here is just we need to write, so delete item. Delete item. This should get index number. It should get index number. It's a number type. It should get the index number. Now delete item should fire up. So when you are clicking that trash button, that means on click, we are accessing that delete item, and it is expecting index number. Then iteration, in the iteration properties, in the iteration, we have to declare I is equal to index. So this I is passed into it. And we need to remove that. We need to remove that item here. And how we can get that? So here we are writing this dot data dot splice from index number 1 record. But before deleting, it should ask a confirmation. Suppose I can use let c equal to confirm. Say, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Want to delete like this. And if c is equal to yes, that means is equal to true. That means c is a confirm box. We have a confirm box. If it is x, if it is true, so what we need to do is, after deleting this dot get count, that is good. So you need to update the count and display that cart items. Now I selected here, so the products add, it is added. I selected here, so the data add, that is also added. We are choosing different products, adding that into the cart. And I want to delete this Nike casuals. Then I click on delete, cancel, it's not deleted. Click on delete, okay. Now you can see right side, you have 3 items. When I click okay, now it should delete it. So on okay, it should delete and update that. So one more here is, it have to delete from that particular index number. So from the data, it should remove and it should update the table. Actually, it should not delete from the data. It should delete from cart items. We are deleting the data. It should delete from cart items. So cart items. So that is our collection. Okay. That is the collection. It is deleting from the data. It will update there. So it should not delete from the data. Cart items. So that will be correct. So here we selected add to cart. Okay. And another product, add to cart. That's also okay. And any number of products you configured, add to cart. And these are all the items in the cart. And I click on delete of JBL speaker. Are you sure? Okay. Then it is deleted and the cart items updated. So I click on delete. So, and are you sure you want to delete? Cancel. It's not deleted. I said, yes, delete. Okay. Then it will be updated there. This is the basic approach, how we can configure. Here we have used several events, attributes, whatever we have learned up to now. That means we used various options and configured for that. Iterations, conditions, how to manage them, ng if, ng for directives, and change event, click event. Now, similarly, different events related, some examples I will post into classroom. You check them. Why? Because all are JavaScript events only. Now, if you can do this, now we have to learn how we can create custom events. In Angular, we can create custom events. What is custom event? How we can configure the custom events? Why we need custom events? We can create our own events and we can design them. Why we need our own events? How to configure those events? These we have to learn. So that we will see in our next session. So tomorrow we will discuss. Okay, you try this. Now tomorrow I will give you a task on this. You have to do the task and submit the task. So first you try what I given today. Then later we can try with the task. Tomorrow I will give you some tasks now. So based on different events, you try those tasks. If you can do, that's very good. Okay. So next session, we will discuss about how to create custom events. How do we configure our own events? Okay. Right.